Lourdes, thank you for the handoff, and thank you to the entire VBID team that's done this really good work. I want to do two things in my brief remarks. One is set a broad context for how VBID fits in what's happening in the individual market, and then identify, similar to Lourdes, some of the opportunities and challenges with actually doing this practically. And one of the things I appreciate is the work here flags that this is not about theory. We out here in, whether you're in a health plan, a provider, or an exchange, we're doing designs every day. And this is a very real world exercise. So first, context. I'd remind all of us that under the Affordable Care Act, defining essential health benefits is itself an exercise in value-based design, identifying which 10 sorts of care should be covered. Second, under the ACA, provides a framework by establishing a benchmark plan. Within that, states and the federal marketplace have a lot of opportunities to apply different benefit designs that can either be value neutral and provide for a lot of range for variation among plans, or be very value centric. I would note that California, and for those that aren't familiar, Covered California is the marketplace for the state of California. We have about 1.4 million individuals enrolled through the marketplace, and another about 900,000 in the individual market off exchange who don't get subsidies. Virtually all of those 2.3 million people use the same patient-centered benefit design that Covered California has designed in concert with health plans, actuaries, consumer advocates. They use the same patient-centered design. I need to repeat that again because we in California have designs that mean if you are in bronze, which 25% of our subsidized, on exchange people are in, they get 3 office visits and lab work not subject to a deductible. If you're in silver, gold, or platinum, no deductible ever applies to outpatient care. So you see a primary care doctor, you do not have a deductible between you and your doctor at all. That's a value-based design right out of the gate towards the goal that is central to VBID of encouraging people to get the right quality care, and the belief that that will lower costs overall, but definitely lead to better quality. So that's part of the context. The other context for us in California is, and I appreciate Michael's note of this, is who are we speaking of addressing? Because for marketplaces, on exchange is not just about bronze and silver. It's silver and enhanced silver because of cost sharing reduction subsidies. I remind all of us that, for example, in California, 50% of our enrollment is in enhanced silver because of cost sharing reduction subsidies. We have in California 50% more people in a silver 94 product, which is a 94% AV silver, than we have in the standard silver. And that standard patient-centered design for that enhanced silver means it's a $5 primary care office visit. It's $8 for an x-ray or diagnostic. So there's already value investments in design with cost sharing reductions that are affecting many people. That said, in particular for people who are chronically ill, who are not at a silver 94 but a lower silver, and in particular for people without subsidies that may have right now a deductible between them and getting any outpatient care, let alone people with chronic illnesses, there are huge opportunities for better value-based design. So it's in that context that I'd note a couple things. We in California are looking closely at building on our current patient-centered design, which are benefiting, again, about 2.3 million Californians, both on and off exchange, by piloting extensively more robust value-based design. In doing that, I'd flag 3 major issues that I think need to be considered. First is this one option amongst many available to consumers, or is it the option? And is it the option that is available on a marketplace or on and off a marketplace? And the reason that's such a critical question is, as Lourdes noted, issues around risk adjustment are big issues for plans. You may have a carrier which is able to design a great VBID program, which unto itself is cost neutral, But in doing that, if they are having a VBID program which has good benefits for people with diabetes, coronary disease, it may shift VBID, the risk adjustment, maybe to their benefit, maybe not, and how that plays is a whole nother layer of thinking about this. We are looking at this more as a benefit that should be everybody gets it. It is cost neutral to everybody, but it would be a common design like we currently have. So that's one issue. Second issue, and again, I think Lourdes touched on this really well, is the challenge of trade-offs of how do you fund in the near term high value services against low or lower value services. Now, our goal in doing this work is to have higher value services supported so it lowers total cost of care. Until we've developed really good proof points on that, though, we need to make it transparent in the AV calculator and have offsets. Some of those are easy, but I would note in virtually all the domains of commonly used quote-unquote limited value services, it is absolutely the case that some x-rays are of limited value, some outpatient surgery is of limited value, some high-cost imaging of limited value. But in every one of those domains, there are people getting care for services that are very, very high value. So having the right balance of trade-offs against raising costs for outpatient surgery, for x-rays and diagnostics for people that need those services is a consequential issue in terms of weighing how much the value is for getting more people into that high value care. The third big implementation issue to my mind is looking at these designs from the perspective of both patients and providers. And the very good roster of potential services outlined in this material provides, 30 or so either services or drugs that relate to a range of conditions, a range of patients that could touch on many people. In particular, if you're looking at both antidepressants, statins, glucose lowering, these relate to people with risk of coronary disease, people who have mental health issues, people that might have diabetes. And a challenge with that is who are you seeking to communicate with and what the designs are, what they mean at a patient and well as a provider level. I'd note that our starting point in considering this is to be likely more focused and say, let's look at the bundles of services and drugs for particular chronic conditions to expand later. So do you start with diabetes, coronary disease, asthma, and look at both services and drugs for those before going much broader in areas that may not have as clear of a proof point for the near-term payoff as opposed to others that may be more proven. And again, those are all balancing acts, but all of those balancing acts are framed by our agreement with the underlying principles. We should be doing a better job making sure all of our benefit designs are not discouraging people from getting the right care at the right time. That's what VBID's about, and Covered California is thrilled to be participating in this effort now, and we'll be working on this in the months and years to come. So with that, I'll turn it back to the facilitator moderator to see if we have questions or comments.